Boxing fans, what's going on, peoples? It's fight week. We got the fight going down tomorrow. It's going to be a good one in Houston. I will be there. I was talking a little boxing with one of my homies, and he's kind of a casual fan, but he likes the sport. He knows a little bit, but not all. Not. Uh, and I was telling him how the sport is different this generation than the previous generation. And we got to talking about the face of boxing, how Canelo, he's been the face of boxing for a little minute now, since Mayweather gave it up. And he said he's a Tank fan. I'm trying to talk him into becoming a fan of the sport and not a boxer because you really don't get the full pleasure of the sport being just a fan of one boxer. But he still thinks it's Tank for some reason. I never thought it was. Tank hasn't fought anyone really. Leo Santa Cruz was the best name on Tank's resume. Frank Martin was scared. Frank Martin had all the tools to really do something with Tank. He just didn't have the heart. He was too scared. He fought scared. You could tell he was scared. And what do scared boxers do? They get knocked out. So Tank, he really never fought the competition to put him as the face of boxing. Earl Spence was he was up there. Earl Spence was on his way of becoming the face of boxing. He generated the most in pay-per-views. Tank was right behind him. So Earl had an engine behind him, but the accident, he wasn't the same after that. Keyshawn, they laid it out for Keyshawn. They were ready to give the keys of boxing to Keyshawn. He squandered it. He blew it with all that foolishness he did at his hometown debut, missing weight. Then the chaos he did, him and his brothers behind the stage, after the boxing match, after his brother got whooped on. So he blew it. But they were so ready to give it to Keyshawn. Maybe if he walks a straight line for the next couple of years, prove that he really is serious about the sport and walking a straight line, they may give it back to him. But who knows what could happen from here to then. Um, Also, y'all know who the face of boxing is because no conversation can go for 5 minutes without this dude's name being brought up. I mean, he's the most hated boxer in the sport. Why, I don't know, but he is. Um, any conversation that goes down, his name comes up. Your favorite fighter can't speak about boxing without speaking his name. Your favorite fighters. It's like the sport revolves around this dude because he's so hated. Why is he so hated? That's a question that can't be answered, but it just is. Um, to no further ado, um, here's your face of boxing, Debo Dev. Debo Dev. Why can a conversation go down without bringing this dude's name up? It's crazy. Dude has so much hate. So much hate because he could beat your favorite fighter, possibly. That's the only reason why he's so hated. What's the other reason? No one actually knows this dude. Nobody has ever met him. Nobody has ever kicked it with him, but they hate this dude with a passion. Why is that? Because he could beat your favorite fighter. Your favorite fighter is ducking him. I mean, this dude, the things that any other fighter could go through, nothing to it. But if he go through the same thing, they'll crucify him. Dude, the first time we saw dude get stunned by a fighter was against Linares. And that was 4 years ago, something like that. People still bring that up. As if their fighter never been rocked or dropped. It's like crazy. It's crazy the heat this dude get. And that shows you he's the face of boxing, man. The only other person that got heat like this was Floyd Money Mayweather. Everybody tuned in to his fights to see him lose. That's why his pay-per-views generated so much money. And this dude is well on his way because he's the new villain of boxing for some reason. Well, we know the reason because he could beat your favorite fighter. He calls out fighters and try to fight those fighters. Your favorite fighters call him out for clout. That's just the bottom line. And I'm sure all the Tank Tuckers and the Teofimo fans and Ryan fans and you go crazy because y'all man fans. Be a fan of the sport. My fandom is not to one person. My fandom is to the sport. I like to see good fights. I like to see the best fight the best. I could care less who's the face of boxing. Let's just get the good fights. Let's get the good fights. And so I told my homie, this is the face of boxing, and I explained all of that to him. You cannot be the face of boxing when your name is constantly being brought up in every conversation. All the top fighters that are on the scene currently is from 135 to 154. That's like the hot section of weight classes right now. And this dude could do all three of them. Well, he can't go back down now, but 47 and 54, this dude is in the mix. He's in the mix. He fights for legacy. The other fighters fight for money, and that's it. But you get the money when you get the legacy. You fight for legacy, you get the money. Mayweather didn't get all that money from one fight or two fights. He earned his way to that purse. But all these fighters want the end results and not do the work. And it's crazy. It's crazy the mentality of these new fighters, man. And the 90s, the fighters in the 90s were like grown men. That's why boxing didn't have all this clout chasing and stuff. But this generation is a lot of youngsters. They're in the 20s, and of course, they're going to act their age. So that's why it's all this clout chasing and all this foolishness these young dudes be doing. They're not really men how the previous generation were, you know? So, but I was just trying to put some game to my homie, trying to get him to be a fan of the sport and not a boxer. But yeah, this is your face of boxing. I know a lot of people is gonna hate me saying this, but it is what it is. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll get back at y'all. I'll check in with y'all this weekend at the fight. Peace.